Hi everyone, welcome to another video here on She's Fit. You work out, you eat right, but the scale won't budge and that stubborn fat just won't leave. If you're over 30, the fault isn't your willpower, it's your metabolism. It has changed, and your old diet strategies simply don't work anymore. Stick with me for the next 35 minutes because I am going to show you exactly the 6 biological factors that are blocking your fat burning and how to reboot it today. Before we dive in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing, and leave me that sweet little like. It seriously helps me keep bringing you amazing content. Trust me, here at She's Fit, you're going to discover how to transform your body in the best possible way. So, let's go! Before we start, I need to share something that has made all the difference for me. You know those days when you try hard but feel like your body just isn't responding the way it should? Well, I found out that sleep has way more impact on weight loss than I ever imagined. That's when I discovered Sleep Lean, a natural supplement specially designed to help women burn fat while they sleep. Yes, while they sleep. It's not a miracle, of course, but when combined with good nutrition and the right habits, the results are amazing. I personally felt my body lighter, my belly less bloated, and a different kind of energy just within the first few weeks. I'll leave the link here in the description so you can check all the details after the video. Trust me, it was a game changer for me. Now, let's get back to the video content. As you hit 30, the female body begins a slow but significant decline in the production of crucial hormones. This is the starting point for difficulty in burning fat. The first, and perhaps most well-known, culprit is estrogen. It begins to fluctuate erratically before truly dropping. Estrogen isn't just about your menstrual cycle. It plays a vital role in insulin sensitivity and fat distribution. When its levels become unbalanced, the body starts favoring the accumulation of visceral fat, that stubborn, dangerous fat around your waist and organs, even if your diet and exercise routine haven't changed significantly. In parallel, progesterone, which has a fundamentally calming, anti-anxiety, and anti-inflammatory role, also begins to decline. This drop in progesterone is what often causes the body to enter an alert state. This basic hormonal imbalance raises stress levels and consequently, cortisol, our primary stress hormone. Cortisol is a master at telling the body to store fat for perceived emergencies, especially when chronically elevated, which is the case for most women juggling work and family. High cortisol not only encourages fat storage in the abdominal area, but also blocks the action of the lipase enzyme, which is responsible for breaking down fat so it can be burned. The key here is to understand that it's not just about calories, it's about hormonal signals. If these signals are confused, if cortisol is screaming, store it, and estrogen is messing up the distribution, your body never gets the clear command to release the fat. It is fundamental that post-30 women focus on strategies that actively support hormonal balance. This includes nutrient-dense food rich in B vitamins and magnesium, adequate intake of healthy fats like avocados, nuts, and olive oil, which are the building blocks of your hormones, and above all, stress management through practices like meditation and intentional time off. You need to calm cortisol production before you only worry about caloric deficit. The metabolism is now a complex orchestra, and hormones are the conductors. Ignoring this revolution is fighting a losing battle. One of the biggest fat-burning saboteurs after 30 is what we call sarcopenia, the natural and progressive loss of muscle mass, which accelerates significantly with age if not actively combated. Muscle is, metabolically speaking, extremely expensive tissue. It demands a substantial amount of energy or calories just to be maintained, even when you are resting. Simply put, muscle is your 24/7 fat-burning engine. It's what determines the efficiency of your basal metabolic rate. The impact is profound. When you lose just 2 pounds of muscle and replace it with fat, you significantly diminish your capacity to burn calories. This means that, suddenly, the same 1,800 calories that kept your weight stable at 25 now create a caloric surplus and cause you to gain weight at 35. It is a subtle yet cumulative change that catches many women by surprise. The problem is compounded because many women, upon noticing the weight gain, resort to the wrong strategies, restrictive diets, and excessive long-duration cardio, like running for hours without proper attention to strength training. These tactics, ironically, accelerate muscle loss. Restrictive diets, especially those low in protein, cause your body to use muscle as an energy source. And long-duration cardio, without resistance stimulus, does very little to signal muscle maintenance or growth. The result is a metabolism that gets slower every year, making weight loss a Herculean task in the long run. The focus must shift from burning calories during the workout, which is temporary, to building a powerful muscle engine that burns calories all the time. For post-30 women, resistance training and adequate protein intake, the building block of muscle, are not just optional for toning. They are essential metabolic strategies to keep the scale moving. Insulin resistance is a metabolic state where your cells become stubborn. They ignore the signal from insulin, which is the key hormone that must take sugar glucose from the bloodstream and transport it into the cell to be used as energy. When cells ignore this command, the pancreas panics and produces more and more insulin, trying to force the sugar in. This is the crucial point. High circulating insulin levels are the master signal for fat storage. Insulin not only tells the body to store energy, but more importantly, it blocks the release of fat from cells to be used as fuel. Essentially, the fat-burning door is locked shut. The major danger is that this can happen silently for years without a formal diagnosis of pre-diabetes. In post-30 women, this manifests as extreme difficulty losing weight, especially that stubborn abdominal fat that won't budge with diet and exercise. Another clear symptom is a constant, almost uncontrollable craving for carbohydrates and sweets, because your cells are constantly starving for energy even if you just ate. After 30, the body naturally becomes less efficient at processing large carbohydrate loads, largely due to the loss of muscle mass as discussed in Part 2 and Hormonal Shifts Part 1. The solution here is not to fall into the trap of cutting all carbohydrates, but rather to be surgical in your approach. You must refine when and which carbohydrates you consume. Prioritize carbs rich in fiber, like leafy greens and legumes, which slow sugar absorption and keep insulin stable. Use strength training before carb-containing meals to open your muscle cell doors, making them more sensitive. And crucially, use strategic intermittent fasting to give your pancreas a vacation and allow your insulin levels to drop, finally giving your body the chance to switch on fat burning. Controlling insulin is the shortcut to unlocking your metabolism. You may be fighting a fire you didn't even know existed: chronic low-grade inflammation. This isn't the visible inflammation from an injury, but a silent, persistent response from your immune system to constant triggers that come from the modern lifestyle. These triggers include excessive refined sugars, a high intake of processed vegetable oils rich in inflammatory omega-6s, uncontrollable chronic stress, and, crucially, poor and insufficient sleep. This inflammation creates a hostile environment within the body that directly affects your metabolism and, as we've seen, your adrenal glands. Chronic inflammation exhausts your stress system, which leads once again to the constant and excessive production of cortisol. The problem is that cortisol and inflammation feed each other, creating a vicious cycle. Fat cells, especially the abdominal ones, visceral fat, love inflammation. They don't just respond to cortisol, they also release their own pro-inflammatory chemicals called cytokines. These cytokines travel to the liver and the brain, worsening insulin resistance Part 3 and intensifying feelings of fatigue and food cravings. This vicious cycle makes fat loss practically impossible, as your body is in constant defense and repair mode, never in fuel-burning mode. Often, What women think is purely stubborn fat is, in fact, significant bloating and fluid retention caused by this chronic inflammation. The post-30 fat-burning strategy must, first and foremost, be an anti-inflammatory strategy. This means being relentless in eliminating aggressive foods such as added sugars and white flours. You must intentionally include probiotics and fermented foods to heal the gut, which is the center of inflammation, and increase your consumption of foods rich in omega-3s like fatty fish or quality supplements, which are powerful cellular fire extinguishers. And finally, you must prioritize quality sleep as a metabolic and hormonal tool, not a luxury, because it is during sleep that the body de-inflames and repairs itself. Many women replicate what they did in their 20s, mistakenly thinking that more is better or that sweating equals burning. This usually translates into hours of moderate intensity cardio like long-distance running, extensive time on the elliptical, or prolonged aerobic classes without a clear metabolic end or purpose. The big problem is that, after 30, your body no longer interprets this prolonged and repetitive exercise as a healthy activity. It interprets it as a significant stressor. Remember our discussion in parts 1 and 4. Your cortisol is likely already elevated due to work stress, family life, and hormonal changes. Adding an hour or more of constant cardio every day only increases this metabolic stress. Your body, from a survival standpoint, doesn't know you're on a modern treadmill. It thinks you are running away from a predator for long periods. In response, it enters energy conservation mode. It slows the metabolism to save calories and, crucially, becomes much more efficient at storing fat for the next escape or period of scarcity. This nullifies all the effort you are making to burn fat, making your exercise routine completely inefficient for your goal. The solution is to radically change your exercise approach so that it is smart, brief, and strategic. You need to focus on two pillars: high-intensity interval training. Height is not a prolonged stressor. It is a quick and powerful signal for the body to boost metabolism after the workout, the famous EPOC or afterburn effect. It takes less time and is hormonally much more effective for fat burning. Strength or resistance training. This is the most important pillar. It actively builds the muscle we discussed in part 2. Strength training signals your body to maintain and build metabolically active tissue. Post-30 exercise should be viewed as a tool to signal to the body what you desire: build muscle, boost metabolism, and not just a way to burn calories. Exercise should be brief and challenging, not long and punishing. The sixth and perhaps most frustrating block to fat burning is the direct result of years of yo-yo dieting. If you've spent the last decade jumping from one fad diet to another, low-carb, keto, intermittent fasting done incorrectly, or, the worst of all, extreme and prolonged caloric restriction, you not only wasted time, you likely damaged your metabolism's fundamental signaling. This is scientifically called metabolic adaptation, or, more colloquially, your body learned to live on much fewer calories than it should. Here is the survival mechanism that is sabotaging you. Every time you severely restrict calories, your body doesn't register that you are doing a get-thin diet. It interprets that restriction as an imminent starvation threat. To ensure survival, it activates powerful defense mechanisms. It immediately and actively lowers your basal metabolic rate, burning less at rest, and tries to hold onto every existing fat cell. Remember, fat equals energy to survive the famine. The problem escalates when you inevitably can't maintain that unsustainable restriction and return to eating normally, which is physiologically guaranteed. When this happens, you gain the weight back, but you gain it primarily as fat, not as muscle. Your body, now slower and more efficient at storing, compensates for the period of restriction. This is the dangerous cycle. You end each cycle with a slower metabolism and a higher body fat percentage than when you started. This destructive cycle is the #1 reason why it is so difficult to lose weight in middle age. Your body has learned through years of abuse that you are not a reliable source of energy. It is now in constant self-defense mode, becoming much more efficient at storing fat in the abdominal region in anticipation of your next restriction attempt. It's protecting you, but it's frustrating you. The only way out is not to jump on the next fad diet. It is to completely abandon that mindset and adopt a sustainable, nourishing and restorative approach focused not on losing weight but on building your metabolism from the inside out. You do this by prioritizing adequate, high-quality protein at every meal, the strongest signal to protect and build muscle, and, as we saw in the previous parts, with strength training. It's time to stop fighting your metabolism and start making peace with it, restoring the trust that it will be well-nourished and not punished. Fat burning after 30 is no longer about starvation. It's about metabolic intelligence. It's about understanding your hormones, protecting your muscle, and managing your stress. Use these 6 keys to reprogram your metabolism and release that stubborn fat. Remember, your body is not a problem to be solved. It is a partner to be nourished. Comment below which of these 6 keys you are going to implement today. And don't forget the tip I gave you at the start. If you need to lose weight, click the link in the video description and grab Sleepily now. It might be the missing piece in your journey. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe here to She's Fit, and share this video to support the channel. Also, leave a comment below with the type of content you want to see next to help with your weight loss.